second time that Black Hawk has gone over us today. They're up to something in the desert north of here. Kind of secret base or some shit.
What you are witnessing here.
Would you mind telling me what I'm up against tonight?
Few filmmakers have traveled a stranger path through modern genre cinema than Adam Wingard. Over the years, he has moved from intimate, independent thrillers to giant blockbuster spectacles filled with towering monsters and worldwide destruction. Yet, despite the scale of those projects, many fans never stopped hoping he would eventually return to the kind of relentless, adrenaline-fueled genre storytelling that first made his name. In 2026, that return arrives in the form of Onslaught, a film that immediately feels like a collision between action, horror, science fiction, and survival thriller cinema. Scheduled to arrive in theaters on September 4, the movie has already generated considerable excitement because it brings together a fascinating cast, a high-concept premise, and a creative team that has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to blend explosive entertainment with tension and atmosphere. Rather than focusing on world-ending catastrophes involving giant creatures, Onslaught appears to place its audience in a far more intimate nightmare, one where a single family becomes trapped in the path of an unstoppable force. At the center of the story is a woman whose past has prepared her for violence, even if she hoped never to confront it again. Living a quieter life with her daughter, she finds herself pulled into a terrifying conflict when an experiment connected to a secret military operation spirals out of control. What begins as a distant threat soon becomes a personal war for survival. The premise may sound simple on the surface, but the imagery revealed so far suggests something far more ambitious than a straightforward action film. Hidden government programs, genetically engineered super soldiers, mercenary forces, mysterious scientists, and overwhelming violence all collide within a desert landscape that feels both isolated and inescapable. Every glimpse of the project suggests a story where ordinary safety vanishes in an instant, forcing its protagonist to become a warrior once again. Leading the cast is Adria Arjona, an actress whose career has steadily grown through major film and television projects while consistently proving her ability to command the screen. In Onslaught, she appears to carry much of the film's emotional and physical weight. Early footage presents her character not merely as someone reacting to danger, but as someone capable of confronting it head-on. There is an intensity in her performance that immediately stands out. The role appears to require vulnerability, determination, fear, and absolute ferocity, often within the same scene. That combination makes her an ideal choice for a story centered on survival. Rather than portraying a traditional action hero who charges into danger without hesitation, Arjona seems to embody a character who understands exactly how deadly the situation has become and chooses to fight anyway, because there is no alternative. The threat facing her appears unlike anything she has encountered before. Information released about the film describes rogue genetically engineered super soldiers breaking free from containment. This concept instantly transforms Onslaught into something larger than a standard chase thriller. Super soldiers carry the implication of enhanced strength, endurance, and lethality. They are not simply trained combatants, they are weapons engineered for warfare. Once unleashed, they become almost impossible to stop. That idea alone creates enormous tension, because every encounter carries the possibility of overwhelming destruction. If a normal human opponent presents a challenge, an engineered killing machine presents a nightmare. Adding further intrigue is the presence of Alex Pereira, whose collaborations with Wingard have produced some of the director's most celebrated work. Their previous partnership demonstrated a remarkable ability to create charismatic and unpredictable characters, and many viewers immediately notice the reunion. Stevens reportedly portrays a scientist connected to the story. That role opens numerous possibilities. He may possess vital knowledge about the escaped soldiers. He may be responsible for their creation. He may understand weaknesses nobody else can see. Whatever the case, his involvement introduces another layer of mystery into a narrative already overflowing with suspense. Audiences familiar with Stevens know how effectively he can balance charm, intelligence, and menace, making his character one of the film's biggest question marks. The supporting cast further elevates anticipation. Rebecca Hall joins the project after previously working with Wingard on major productions, bringing dramatic credibility and emotional depth. Drew Starkey continues his rise as one of Hollywood's increasingly recognizable young performers. Michael Biehn, a legendary figure in action and science fiction cinema, brings decades of genre history with him. For many viewers, simply seeing Biehn involved instantly evokes memories of relentless survival stories and desperate battles against overwhelming odds. Reginald VelJohnson's inclusion adds another surprising and welcome presence, while Eric Weyerheim introduces a unique element that could provide unique energy within the larger narrative. Perhaps the most unexpected casting choice is Alex Pereira, known worldwide as one of the most feared combat athletes of his generation. Pereira enters the film portraying a character called the Butcher. Even the name alone creates curiosity. It suggests brutality, intimidation, and violence on a scale worthy of the film's title. Pereira's physical presence naturally lends itself to the role. Standing as a genuine fighter with devastating knockout power in real life, he possesses an authenticity that cannot be manufactured. When audiences see him on screen, they immediately believe he is dangerous. That credibility becomes a powerful asset in a story built around lethal confrontations. What makes Onslaught especially fascinating is the way it appears to blend several cinematic traditions into one experience. There are clear elements of action cinema, with explosive combat and heavily armed forces confronting impossible threats. There are unmistakable horror influences as well, particularly in the concept of unstoppable pursuers who continue advancing regardless of injury or resistance. Science fiction elements emerge through genetic experimentation and military technology. Survival thriller components remain present through the protagonist's desperate effort to protect her daughter. Each genre strengthens the others, creating a framework capable of delivering both spectacle and tension.
The desert setting also deserves attention because location often functions as a character in films like this. Vast stretches of empty land create vulnerability. There are fewer places to hide, fewer resources available, and greater isolation. If danger arrives, escape becomes difficult. Every road feels exposed, every structure becomes a temporary refuge rather than a permanent sanctuary. This environment naturally amplifies suspense because the protagonists cannot simply disappear into a crowded city. Instead, they remain trapped within an unforgiving landscape where enemies can emerge from any direction. As details surrounding the story continue to emerge, one theme appears consistently throughout everything associated with the film: protection. The central character is not fighting for glory, revenge, or personal ambition. She is fighting for her child. That emotional foundation often creates the strongest action heroes because their motivation is instantly understandable. A parent willing to do anything to protect their family becomes an incredibly powerful figure. Every confrontation gains additional intensity because failure carries consequences far beyond personal survival. The battle becomes emotional as well as physical. The title itself, Onslaught, perfectly captures the atmosphere the film seems determined to create. An onslaught is not a single attack. It is a relentless barrage, an overwhelming force that refuses to stop. The word suggests pressure, chaos, and constant danger. It implies that once events begin, there will be little opportunity to rest. Every moment becomes part of an escalating struggle, where survival depends upon endurance, determination, and the willingness to keep fighting even when hope appears lost. That sense of relentless momentum appears deeply connected to the movie's identity, promising an experience designed to keep audiences on edge from beginning to end. For Adam Wingard, the project represents more than simply another film. It feels like a statement about the type of storytelling that first established his reputation. Long before directing massive studio productions, he became known for energetic genre filmmaking that blended suspense, dark humor, violence, and inventive set pieces. Onslaught appears positioned as a return to those instincts, while benefiting from the larger scale and experience he gained throughout the past decade. The result could be a film that combines the raw intensity of his earlier work with the technical confidence developed through blockbuster filmmaking. As September approaches, excitement continues building around what may become one of the most talked-about genre releases of the year. The combination of action, horror, science fiction, survival drama, and family stakes creates a compelling foundation. Add a cast filled with recognizable talent, a director returning to familiar territory, and a premise centered on genetically engineered super soldiers unleashed upon an unsuspecting world, and the result is a film that feels uniquely positioned within the modern cinematic landscape. Whether audiences arrive for the action, the horror, the mystery, or simply to witness Adam Wingard's latest vision unfold on the big screen, Onslaught appears ready to deliver exactly what its title promises: a relentless storm of danger, violence, suspense, and survival, where only the strongest will endure.